Well, hello there, and thank you for listening to Left Plague today. So, this is how a disease called scabies is basically being used by the Israeli government as a part of essentially torturing and potentially killing Palestinian prisoners. So, this is an article coming from the Canary, which I'll link in the comments. So, a dangerous and rapidly escalating outbreak of a skin disease, scabies, is again sweeping through Israeli occupation prisons, and this is causing huge suffering to the many thousands of Palestinian political prisoners who, for the past several years, have intentionally had some of the worst conditions you can imagine inflicted on them. So, Abdullah al Zagari, the head of the Palestinian Prisoner Society, told the Canary, "The Israeli occupation system is carrying out acts of retaliation against Palestinian detainees in Israeli prisoners by denying them the necessary medical care, posing a serious threat to their lives." So, during April and May, the Palestinian Prisoner Society, or the PPS, lawyers conducted dozens of visits to Palestinian political prisoners, and they found shocking levels of human suffering and intentional health catastrophe aimed at deliberate deprivation of treatment and healthcare. These lawyers witnessed a complete lack of minimum hygiene standards and humane care. They have stated that diseases and epidemics are being used as systematic tools of torture against Palestinian political prisoners in overcrowded cells where no fewer than 8 prisoners are held. At least 3 of them are infected with scabies. Now, the Israeli occupation authorities have cancelled many scheduled lawyer visits in the past few days, citing scabies infections in the prisons. The testimonies of widespread scabies infections were from Offa, Nakab, and Geno prisoners. So many Palestinians have also experienced other serious health problems. These include severe abdominal and head pain and intense aches, in raising grave concerns about the spread of additional disease and epidemics. The health conditions, according to the PPS, are deadly, and some prisoners have remained infected with scabies for more than 5 consecutive months without any serious medical treatment whatsoever. So, scabies, if left untreated, causes bacterial skin infections which can spread into the bloodstream and become life-threatening. And because of the occupation's intentional absence of any treatment, the PPS has stated that many prisoners now suffer from boils, ulcers, and severe infections. Others are unable to sleep due to intense itching and continuous pain. Some are unable to move normally because their health has deteriorated so badly. And prisoners have told the PPS lawyers that their psychological suffering has reached unprecedented levels. This is due to prolonged physical and mental exhaustion they have suffered for many months due to scabies. So, policies and measures imposed by the occupation's prisons administration have led to this serious outbreak, which continues to spread. And prisoners are intentionally deprived of personal hygiene supplies. Cells are severely overcrowded, and they lack any ventilation. And prisoners are deprived of sunlight and are also forced to wash and wear clothes while still wet. This is because the Israeli occupation has intentionally ensured that there is a severe lack of any kind of clothing in prisons. And additionally, according to the PPS lawyers, the prison system is using disease, epidemics, and medical crimes as tools of slowly killing the detainees, with a systematic policy aimed at destroying them physically and psychologically. These policies have, since the start of the genocide in Gaza, led to the killing of 89 identified Palestinian political prisoners in occupation prisons. And diseases, including scabies, are among the most prominent factors contributing to the deaths of several prisoners. These deaths have occurred amid the continuing policy of denial of treatment and ongoing medical crimes. This continuous state of complicity must come to an end. And Al-Zaghari then says, this scabies outbreak comes within the context of a systematic campaign of revenge. The Israeli occupation authorities bear full responsibility for this, alongside the international human rights and legal system that has failed to provide protection for Palestinian detainees inside prisons. The world must assume its responsibilities and act urgently to stop the extermination and abuses inflicted upon Palestinian detainees inside Israeli prisons. So there are currently around about 9,400 Palestinian prisoners, and one thing to bear in mind is that about 3,600 of them are imprisoned without any trial or charges. So a substantial amount of them are in these prisons and haven't even been charged with anything. And amongst the ones who have been charged with something, who knows how many of that is legitimate? Palestinians and the occupied Israeli zones basically have no rights and can be detained for barely anything. And I think this article hits the nail on the head when this is just a campaign to kill off these prisoners, and doing it by a much more secretive way, rather than just killing them directly, which will leave a paper trail and will leave more evidence. No, we'll just leave them rotting inside inhumane conditions so that they can just die slowly and of their own accord. Anyway, thank you for listening to this video today.